All right, so welcome to today's daily coaching. Today, I'm going to be answering one question from our community. It has to do with automations, and then the rest of the portion, I'm going to be talking about reviews and specifically Google reviews. All right, so let me go and share my screen and take a look at um, the question that was posed by somebody in the community. Okay, and so let's go take a look. So, question from Local is, what if you only want to drip out during business hours? This has to do with the workflow automations within Pro 360. Where would that fit into the scenario? Okay, so if we go look at Pro 360, I actually created this draft workflow here. Okay, so that video that he's referring to, or that question that was posed, it had to do with this new automation uh, workflow action, which is drip mode. So basically, what drip mode does is it will drip X number of contacts that are going through this workflow every whatever interval that you set it at. So let's just say hypothetically you wanted to go and drip, let's say 10 contacts through this gate. So basically you're letting 10 people come through this workflow every, 5 minutes, right? Let's just say. I usually like to put in here, so 10 per 5 minutes. Okay, so I always like to see visually what that action is doing. Now, with his question with regard to how do you do it so that it does it during business hours, there are actually two ways to implement this, right? The first way is you can put in here a wait mode. So I would actually I would move this workflow right on top here. Okay. Um, Either way, actually, you can drip it. I use drip mode in different ways. Um, I drip like sometimes when I send out a new email campaign or I send out a new text message, I would like to make sure that I drip it out and don't send it to the whole list at the same time. So that's when I would do drip mode. So whether you put it before and after, it doesn't really matter. It depends on how you are implementing it. And so during this wait state, I usually would put it 1 minute. There's this advanced window right here. If you check that, basically you have here basically it'll only go through this workflow Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Now, depending on your time zone that you're scheduled it, it'll go according to that time zone. Okay. Um, the other way that you would do it is you can put it in here, settings. Actually, there's three ways. I take that back. Time window, right? So if you want this workflow to only operate within this time zone, this is where you would put it here as well. This is the second. Um, so there's different ways to skin the cat, depending on how you're implementing this workflow. Okay. The other way that you would do it is when you're adding to a specific campaign from your contacts, let's say, um, these are emails that I put in here as tests. Let's just say you're putting this contacts into a specific campaign and say okay, and then we'll put in here, um, oh, the workflow has to be turned on. So let's just go ahead. Well, we don't have to turn it on. So let's just say in here, this is where you put it in drip mode, and then you can put in here Monday through Friday, and then start from 9 a.m. to 5, let's say 5 p.m., right? And then you can put in here the batch quality. So that kind of supersedes what you're trying to accomplish here on the workflow, right? So you can accomplish the same thing here. And so, like I said, it depends on how you're implementing what you're doing in your marketing or whatever it is that you're setting up. So there's, like I said, a lot of the things in here. There's, this platform has a way, you have so many different ways to customize and to implement what you're trying to do. And so really it depends on how you're implementing it. So those are the three ways that you could set your triggers or things to happen within business hours. All right. So going on to today's topic of reviews. Now, let's go talk about why reviews are important. Okay. So why are reviews important? Number one, reviews are important for credibility, right? So let's just take a business, local business where you have one business that has one review, right? That has three one-star review, and another business that has 100 reviews, and somebody is searching online. Let me stop sharing. Okay, let me go back to what I was saying. Um, with regard to reviews is, and this is more particularly specific to Google reviews, and I'm going to talk about the reason why. So number one, reviews. Why is reviews are important? There are so many different review platforms where you can put your reviews. I'm going to just name a couple of them, right? Google reviews, Facebook reviews, Yelp reviews. What are those? Um, Zillow reviews. If you're within the agency space, there is Trustpilot. There is what are those reviews? TripAdvisors. I mean, depending on your niche or industry, there's specific platforms that you can put your reviews. So number one is reviews build credibility. And so why is that important? Because at the end of the day, when a customer is looking for you or looking at your business and a competitor, they're not just, don't assume that they're just looking at you. They're looking at other competitors. And so if you have a review of 3 stars, one review or two reviews, right? And you have another business with multiple reviews giving rating reviews, hundreds of them, if not, even if it's below 100, even 50 is better than two, right? And they are mentioning how great you are and saying great things about you. Which one are they going to pick? The one with more reviews. And so that is why reviews are important. Okay. Um, Number two, why Google, right? Now, I know a lot of realtors are, I work with a lot of different realtors and brokerages. And so Zillow is probably one of the most used review platforms, right? I would say that if you're utilizing um, Zillow as your platform, right, then use Zillow, right? If you're running Facebook ads, then of course Facebook reviews are important. But the reason why Google review is so important is because of local SEO. Now, I didn't know when I started this marketing agency back in 2016. I don't think there was such thing as local SEO. There was, but I don't think it is where it is right at this point. And I didn't know that. And so I knew that it was going to be important because at the end of the day, when we look for businesses out there, or when you're trying to locate businesses, you know, people are going to be searching and looking at reviews. And so Google review is connected with local SEO, right? And this is probably the number two factor. The number one is, of course, optimizing your Google business profile. I'm not going to talk about that in this because we can go down a path and spend the next hour talking about optimizing and talking about Google business profile. But specifically today, we're going to be talking about reviews. And so um, I'm going to do a real case scenario of somebody that we're currently working with. and they're doing a database reactivation, and that's specifically what we do is one of our I guess what would you say? One of our packages is doing database reactivation. Okay, so let me go and share my screen, and let's go share my screen here. And so we're going to review um, we're going to do a search for the specific brokerage that we are currently working with. And um, so typically I look for the keyword based real estate agent in um, Lyndhurst. I think. Yeah, Lyndhurst. And as you can see here, this is somebody that's local running local service ad. And these are I believe I've never seen this before, but this is probably what um, they're pulling up through AI. Oh, actually, no, this is Home Light. So this is basically Home Light. My bad. And so here is Century 21 Semio that we're working with. And so they are number one, as you can see here. Um, Now, one of the things I like to see is I like to look at the competitors and seeing what the competitors are within this area. Okay, so these are Google local service ads. And so I like to see where they are in relationship to the number of reviews. So I see that this right here, they have a lot more. I'm not even sure but they're in Rutherford, right? So they have 272 reviews, and so it looks, they're in pretty good shape. But I would never rest on that. We always like to tell our clients that hey, you got to constantly be increasing the number of reviews, and you cannot let go of the gas on that. And so one of the things that we're helping them with is um, automating their system of getting reviews. Now, I believe they use it's a Century 21 office, and they are utilizing the franchise is using another service, I believe. So we're kind of piggybacking off of that system and creating a campaign that will piggyback off of that. What I mean by piggyback off of that, so when they close, they're going to send a review. So we're not going to ask for a review right afterwards. What we're going to do is probably wait maybe a little bit later, or um, create a batch and do a batch review campaign. And that's what we're doing right now. So um, the other thing that I like to look at when we're analyzing a specific client, what we do is we do a local heat map. Now, some may be wondering, what is a local heat map? I know we're talking about reviews, but reviews, as I said, is very important when it comes to local SEO. So when I look at the heat map, okay, this is one thing that even though they're ranking within a specific location, right? Um, I want to see how much green they are. So as you can see, you see that they're not green. And so this is one of the reasons why Century 21 uh, are using us, because at the end of the day, we want to try to expand the number, the greens that they see here. So this is not a good thing. And then another term that we're going to search for is homes for sale. And as you can see here, they're not even ranking for the term home for sale. So this is another thing that we have to work on for their company. Okay. Um, so moving uh, on to the um, the the review. So let me pull up their I said this live coaching, and so we're doing things live as we speak. So I'm gonna pull their campaign that I worked on. And so let's see if I could pull it up and see if I could pull it to your screen over here. Right. Okay. So let me see here. Let me pull it over here. And so what we're doing here is I came up with a strategy where um, so what I'm doing is I'm getting a list from Century 21 and we're going to be importing them into Pro 360. And so what Pro 360 is going to do, which is the marketing software, is on day one, we're going to send them an initial email. This is the email that I drafted, and we went back and forth um, to make sure that it's worded properly for their each uh, brokerages, each business has their way of talking to their customers. And so we just want to make sure that they're talking to them in a manner that is consistent with their professionalism and the way they talk to their customers and so forth, their clients. And so we went across this, and day two is we're executing a review. Actually, this snapshot is the older version of the Pro 360. Let me show you the new one that we created this morning. Um, so like I said, this is something that we're actually working on. I didn't like, well, this is actually, I created this, and let me show you um, what my designer. So at the end of the day, I like to designers are good for what they do, and I'm good for what I do. And so let me show you uh, on Pro 360. Let me see if I can pull that in. All right, so let me pull it over. All right, so here is the Pro 360 platform. And so under setting here, let me go into email requests. And so if you look at here, this is what my designer came up with. Looks so much better than what it was initially before, as you can see. Um, I didn't know how to resize and make the image better, and I didn't know how to, well, it's not that I didn't know. I didn't want to spend the time. Sometimes I'm very impatient. All right, so on email number two, which is actually this is day one. It's going to go out the same time this email goes out. And then on the seventh day, now what this does is that when it triggers this email, if they if the end recipient clicks on yes, then what it's going to do, it's going to stop sending them because it's going to assume that when they click on yes, then they're going directly to Google review, and we're going to assume that they have already put a review on Google on their Google reviews. Okay. So, but if they did not click yes and they, for whatever reason, missed and skipped this email, then they're going to, on day seven, it's going to ask for another, it's going to send out another email asking for a review, the same one. And then same thing, if they click yes, then it's going to skip this second one. So it's going to do it 3 times here. And on day 21, which is it's going to ask them for a review. Okay. It's going to actually send them a reminder with the specific Google link, review link. And so the other thing that I forgot to mention here is that it also says this is also giving them a call to action to basically call if they need help buying and selling, right? And then lastly, on day 28, which is here, this is an internal notification going out to their staff as well as to the broker owner to follow up with the Google review. And so this is going to send out an email. I asked him if they wanted an SMS, and he said email, right? And so basically, it's going to include the person's name as well as the phone number, so it makes it easy for them to call, and um, they don't have to go into the system, and they can just immediately call. what they need to do is to first, actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably add um, here a direct add direct link to their Google business profile. So that way they don't have to do the search. And then they can just call that person. If they see that they've left a review, then they don't have to call them. Um, if they didn't, then contact them and try to get them to write a review. All right. So that is pretty much in now. There are other ways. We actually have a process for a typical local business. If they get consistent reviews, we do have a template and a snap. They call it template where we would just integrate it into the system, and a trigger will automatically send a Google review or Facebook review or whatever review, and it'll do it every time and so forth. This specifically is for a database reactivation specific to this customer. And so that's why we implemented this system. And some people think, sending it, asking for 3 times in a row is too much. But in this day and age, it's very important. I tell this to every business owner, you have to ask for reviews, Google reviews, no matter what. I mean, don't be scared. You have to ask them because more and more people are beginning to see how, every business is asking for it. So you have to ask for it no matter what. Make it easy for them, and setting up a QR code if necessary for you to do that. That is something that you have to do. Okay. All right. So, on that note, we are 20 minutes into this. Um, like I said, if this is something that you want to implement, or you want to just strategize with me, I will put in the description my booking link. Let me see if I can find the booking link, and let's see if I can. I don't even know if I can share it within. Um, so one of the things about utilizing, let me see. I'll put in my description in the YouTube because right now I'm streaming out to YouTube. Um, One stream live. Um, you know what? Um, so what I did was I previously I was using Talk Studio, but I just feel like Zoom is um, the quality of the video is a lot better with Zoom um, than Talk Studio. So I'm going to be utilizing Zoom to speak, and I feel like there's less of a lag than with Talk Studio. So I decided to go ahead, use Zoom so I could record this session and possibly utilize it to repurpose the video in the future as well. All right. Um, Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay. Bye now.